The rain tapped softly against the tall glass windows of the castle library. Inside, candles flickered across rows of dusty books and ancient scrolls. At a large wooden table sat King Henry, the youngest king his kingdom had ever known. Though he wore a golden crown, Henry was only 14. He loved reading stories about distant lands far more than attending royal meetings. One evening, while searching through a forgotten shelf, Henry pulled out a thick leather book. As he opened it, something slipped out and fluttered to the floor. "A map?" Henry whispered. The parchment was old and yellowed. Strange symbols covered the edges, and at the bottom were two names written in faded ink. Benin, Oyo. A red line stretched across an ocean toward a large land. Henry's heart raced. This must lead to something incredible. Just then the castle door creaked open. "Henry, are you still in here?" asked his best friend Lucas, a young knight in training. Henry quickly spread the map across the table. "Look at this," Henry said. "I think it leads to an ancient treasure, hidden somewhere in Nigeria." Lucas's eyes widened. "A real adventure?" Henry smiled. "A real one." A week later, a small ship sailed away from the kingdom's harbor. On board were Henry and 3 loyal friends. Lucas, the brave knight in training, Amara, a clever historian who loved solving puzzles, and Jonas, a sailor who knew the oceans well. The waves rolled beneath the ship as they crossed the vast sea. One night, Jonas pointed toward the horizon. "Land ahead." Henry stepped onto the deck as the sun rose. Green forests stretched across the land, and wide rivers shimmered in the distance. "Nigeria," Amara said softly. Henry felt a strange excitement. This is where the map leads. After arriving in a small riverside village, the group began their journey inland. The forest was thick and alive with sound. Tall trees formed a canopy above them. Bright birds flew between branches, and the air smelled of earth and rain. "This forest is older than our kingdom," Amara said while studying the map. Lucas pushed aside thick vines. "I just hope the treasure is worth all these mosquitoes." Henry laughed. "Adventures are always worth it." Suddenly they heard a voice. "Travelers." The group turned. An elderly man stood beside a large tree, holding a carved walking staff. "I am Elder Aid, keeper of stories," he said. Henry bowed politely. "We are searching for something hidden long ago." The elder looked carefully at the map. "Ah," he said slowly, "the treasure of the ancient kings." "You know about it?" Henry asked. The elder nodded. "The treasure belongs to the history of this land. Many have searched for it, but few understood its meaning." He pointed deeper into the forest. "You must first pass the Stone of Wisdom." After hours of walking, they reached a clearing. In the center stood a giant stone covered in carvings. Symbols of animals, rivers, and crowns covered its surface. Amara studied the carvings. "These symbols tell a story," she said. Henry read the inscription aloud. "Only those who respect the past may continue." Lucas scratched his head. "So, what do we do?" Amara pointed to 3 symbols: a lion, a river, and a crown. "These represent power, life, and leadership," she explained. "The correct order shows how a good king rules." Henry thought for a moment. "A king protects his people first," he said. "So the river life comes first." Amara nodded. "Then strength. And finally the crown," Henry said. He pressed the symbols in that order. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the stone rumbled. A hidden pathway slowly opened in the ground. Lucas grinned. "Now that is impressive." The path led them to the remains of an ancient city. Tall stone walls rose from the earth, covered in vines. "These ruins are connected to the Benin Empire," Amara explained. "It was famous for its art, walls, and powerful kings." Henry ran his fingers across the carvings. They built all this hundreds of years ago. Farther ahead stood a second group of ruins. These belonged to the Oyo Empire, Amara said. One of the strongest empires in West African history. Lucas looked around in amazement. People here were building kingdoms while our ancestors were still learning to sail. Henry nodded thoughtfully. History is bigger than we think. The map led them to a powerful river cutting through the forest. The current roared loudly. "We must cross," Henry said. They found an old wooden bridge, but it looked unstable. Jonas tested it carefully. "It will hold, if we move slowly." Halfway across, the bridge shook. Boards cracked beneath Lucas's feet. "Hurry!" Jonas shouted. The group ran across just as part of the bridge collapsed into the rushing water below. Breathing hard, Lucas laughed. "I think that river tried to eat us." At sunset, they reached a mountain covered with thick vines. According to the map, the treasure was hidden inside. They entered a dark cave lit only by their torches. Deep inside the cave stood a massive stone door. Henry pushed it open. Inside was a chamber filled with incredible treasures. Golden crowns, carved ivory, ancient statues. Jewels glittered in the torchlight. Lucas gasped. "We're rich." But Amara looked thoughtful. "These are royal treasures," she said. "They belonged to ancient kings." Henry walked slowly around the chamber. "These objects tell the story of a people." He picked up a golden crown, then gently placed it back. Lucas frowned. "You're not taking it?" Henry shook his head. "No, but we traveled across an ocean," Lucas said. Henry turned toward his friends. "This treasure isn't mine." He looked around the chamber again. "It belongs to the history of Nigeria and the people whose ancestors built these kingdoms." Amara smiled. "That's the choice of a true king." Before leaving, Henry placed the map back inside the chamber. "Let the treasure remain where it belongs," he said. When they returned to the village, Elder Aid was waiting. "You found it," the elder said. Henry nodded. "And we left it." The elder smiled warmly. "You have learned the most important lesson." Henry tilted his head. "What lesson?" "That history is not something to take," the elder said. "It is something to protect." Months later, Henry returned to his castle. But he was not the same boy who had left. He had seen ancient kingdoms, powerful rivers, and forests older than his own land. At the next royal meeting, Henry told his advisors, "Our world is full of histories and cultures we must respect." Lucas leaned toward him and whispered with a grin, "So, when is the next adventure?" Henry smiled. "Soon, and somewhere deep within the forests of Nigeria, the ancient treasure of forgotten kings remains safe, waiting for those who respected the past enough not to claim it."